Japanese knives are absolutely incredible. They're made with harder steel, they hold an edge longer, but you can chip them. I'm going to show you how to avoid damaging your favorite knife. Knifewear wants to make cooking the best part of your day. Go to the link in the description, head to our website, see all the beautiful knives that we've got to offer. Also, we'd love it if you'd subscribe to our videos, like all the ones that you watch, and hit the notification bell so you never miss any. You've got an awesome Japanese kitchen knife. You know that the steel's a little bit harder, which is why it's so much sharper, but you're also aware already, means it's brittle and you can chip it. I'm going to show you how to avoid chipping your knife. You know, I've chipped a few knives in my day for sure. Frankly, when I first did it, I thought, oh, this knife has a problem. Maybe it's a defect. I was the defect. I was doing the wrong thing. I'm going to show you some things not to do and some ways not to cut with your knife. One of the first things that's really bad for your knife is just really aggressive chopping. You'll find when you've got a super sharp knife, you can use very little amount of force. You don't need to drive your knife through the food as hard as you're used to. What's going to happen is you're going to sink the edge into the cutting board. Your fine, tiny, little, thin, super sharp edge is just going to get dulled by that pressure you're adding to it. Another way that's not real friendly to your knife is to twist and scrape as you're cutting. You're trying to move stuff across your cutting board and you're dragging that thin edge across the surface. What's happening is it's either going to fold that edge over, it's going to put tiny little chips along the edge, and that's just going to result in dulling sooner than you need it to. And the worst, it could result in chipping. There's a technique we often use when we're chopping herbs, trying to mince them up a little bit finer, where you put one hand on the top of the blade. And that, if you're putting too much force with your hand on the top of the blade, is going to stick the thin edge of the knife into the cutting board. And as you roll it, it's going to damage that edge of the knife. The cutting board's going to grab it. That torque is going to break the edge. So all I do is keep my hand gently on the top of the knife just to keep it where I want it. Reason why we do that is so the knife doesn't bounce around as much. That's all you got to do. Here's something that's not going to be great to cut with a Japanese kitchen knife. First of all, it's hard chicken bones. Secondly, it's frozen. Neither of those things are great, especially when you add hard and frozen together. That coldness makes the steel more brittle and easier to break. Let's see what happens. I've got a little Santoku here. It's a carbon steel. It's pretty hard. Yep, that's definitely not what you want to do, because if you can see there, we've got a nice couple of chips there. I made it through, but you know, I now need to take my knife down to Knifewear. We'll grind down that edge, get rid of the chip, thin the knife back out, sharpen it up. It'll be good as new. Other things you can be surprised by that can chip your knife can be things like chocolate, super dense and very hard. Squash, especially if you hit the stem. Rosemary can be really woody, especially if it's an older, thicker stem on the herb. Parmesan cheese rind is a big culprit, especially that's more for people that work in a restaurant where they get to deal with really big pieces of Parmesan cheese. That rind is really dense, and any kind of lateral motion can cause the knife to break, especially if you're pushing down and you twist it a little bit. Basically, if I'm not going to want to chew on it with my own teeth, then I'm not going to try and cut it. This is a better tool to do this job. You want to bash through bones? Get a cleaver. It's what it's made for. One of the things that makes it better is the steel is softer. It's also thicker and heavier, so you don't have to work as hard. You can also use this for other stuff, like if you're chopping up chocolate or you're trying to bust down a squash into more manageable pieces. Use this like your kitchen axe, save this like your kitchen razor. Fine, sharp knife, get really nice, clean looking cuts. You can use a Japanese knife very carefully around bones, and I mean around bones, not through bones. For example, if you're going through the joint just separating two pieces, you can do that, and you can do it gently. What you want to do though is if you feel your knife is getting stopped by whatever it is you're cutting, that's not the time to smash it through. What you want to do is pull the knife out, take a look at what you're doing, maybe aim the knife a little bit differently before you try and do the cut again. Now, if you're cutting something, say dense like a squash or that hard Parmesan cheese rind, and you do get your knife stuck in it, really try to avoid twisting the knife. It's that twisting action that often always leads to that crack or the chip in the edge of the knife. Back the knife out, reassess the situation, turn the food around, grab your cleaver, whatever your choice is going to be. But don't push, and don't twist. One last thing I want you to avoid with your really nice knife, it's putting it in the dishwasher. Such an evil place for anything you like. The heat, the chemicals, the time it spends in there, that's really going to degrade the steel. It's going to eventually lead to pitting of the steel, weakening of it, and lead to just an easier knife to chip in the first place. Your knife won't last nearly as long as it should if it spends much time in there. Please just wash it by hand. It's very simple. We'll do a video for that later. Say you've gone through all of the right things and your knife gets chipped. Frankly, it's not going to be you. It's going to be someone who wasn't allowed to use it in the first place. It's not the end of the world. Get the knife to us. We can fix it. We can work out the chip, put a brand new edge on it, make it feel just like new. Either come to any of our store locations in Calgary, Edmonton, Ottawa, or Vancouver, or you can go to our website, go to the link for mail-in sharpening, and see our set of instructions on how to safely and carefully ship a knife across the country. We'll get it, we'll fix it up, we'll send it right back. If you want to do it yourself, you can totally learn. We even have videos for you. Check out our playlist for sharpening. See my friend Naoto. He's got some great videos on how to fix chips and knives. He'll walk you right through it. You can do it yourself as well. Sometimes sharing can help you get over the pain of chipping your own knife. If you have a great story of how you chipped a knife or the worst story you've got about your knife, hit us up, put it in the comments. Everyone wants to hear and share. Thanks for watching. You can find tons more videos like this on our channel. We hope you like our videos, subscribe to our channel, and come back and see us again soon. Thanks for watching.